He was attempting to get to the throne by undoing Enlil. However, Enlil had his own family, and he had in particular a granddaughter, and her name was Isis, also known as Ishtar. Ishtar was a neat little bitch. She was one of the most scheming, devious, cunning little witches you've ever seen in your life. She also wanted to ascend to the throne. She was on the Council of 12 at the very bottom. Her ranking was 5. The grandfather Anu was 60. Marduk only had a ranking of 30. Isis, Ishtar, wanted to become the queen and take over everything. So she conspired to undo her grandfather. She had a twin brother. His name was Sin. Sin and his sister attempted to undo Enlil and to undo their father. However, it failed. Sin was punished. He was banished to the moon. He had to live there. Ishtar, Isis, was very unhappy. So she decided, well, in that case, I'm going to go after the the son of Enki. The youngest one, his name was Dumuzi. Ishtar, Isis, went to go marry Dumuzi. Marduk's youngest brother was Dumuzi. He went to go arrest Dumuzi to keep him from marrying Ishtar. Ishtar, however, plotted and planted an ambush. When Marduk's forces went to go arrest his own younger brother, the younger brother was assassinated by his own wife, Ishtar Isis. So she engineered the death of her fiancé. She, however, planted all the evidence on Marduk, and he was accused of killing his younger brother. Marduk ended up conducting a war to protect himself. He went into the pyramid with his fortress. He hid inside. He was sealed inside the pyramid. He became the great hidden god Amen. However, Marduk had another name. Amen-Ra. Okay? Now, this scenario, unfortunately, it's in Terra 2. Terra 2 is not complete yet. We haven't printed it, but you can find references to it in the Earth Chronicles, the 12th planet. Ra-Marduk, also known as Amen-Ra, sealed up in the pyramid. He was able to escape. He fled into the heavens, and he vowed that someday he would come back. Ishtar, Isis, decided to go and seduce her her grand uncle, Prince Ea. She went, she seduced him, she got him drunk, she stole the tablets of destiny. Brother Enlil and Prince Ea had to go and chase after Ishtar. They finally got her to give up the tablets. However, she vowed that she would someday come back and she would take over planet Earth and she would create her own empire. So she fled off into the heavens. When I hear that there is a force that's going to save mankind, rescue you, take you to paradise, and it's called the Ashtar Command. Bingo! In a moment, I absolutely know who's behind it and what's going to happen. Send me a postcard. Ra, what is crucial here, I gave you a really concise and probably confusing history, but I tell you, the history of the wolf people reads like a soap opera on steroids. You can't believe the stuff they get into. Anyway, Ra flees into the heavens. Now, how many of you have seen Stargate? Okay, you got to see Stargate. Now, Ra comes back to planet Earth, and he gets rid of his dad, Prince Ea. He gets rid of Prince Enlil. He gets rid of Isis, Ishtar, Nin-Hursad. He gets rid of everybody. He cleans out the empire, and the only people that are allowed to stay are those who obey him and pledge allegiance to Ra. Ra becomes the one and only sun god. He is the Son of God. A prince born of the Creator God, who has to go away, and he comes back. The second coming of the Lord Creator. What is that? Whoops. Yeah, they're getting younger and younger all the time. Ra comes back with a new ally. He has new backing. Someone who is willing to underwrite his revolution, someone who is willing to move in with him and undo the Syrian kings. Now, what person could possibly be willing to underwrite and undermine the Syrian kings? Clue number one, what is the headgear that Ra wears? What do you see in Stargate? What does that hood look like, and what the hell's on the front of it? A snake. A reptilian queen. The queen says, "You've screwed with my check, enough." And she takes Ra into her fold and says, "Go down there, dude, and do it for me." And the Lord God Ra becomes the one and only God on earth. But the reptilian queen ain't dumb. She knows you don't trust the Wolfman. So she sends some of her distant relatives, some reptilian hybrids, created specifically to serve and obey the queen. Right? They are called Shetu. Little lizard hybrids who follow and obey the queen's commands. Now, the Shetu hybrid beasts also were created to serve the system. And one of the things that they were extremely good at was manipulating the stone cutting machinery. They became master stone cutters. They could use the equipment and cut blocks so square, so precise, when you put them together, you couldn't slip a piece of paper between them. The stone cutters, as a matter of fact, Enlil and Prince Ea actually used some of the Shetu before they even created the beast. In other words, there were Shetu hybrids on planet Earth working for the Syrian king and now for Ra even before man was born. The Shetu. This is the key. The administrators of Ra, the reptilian queen's insurance that Ra would always obey. Ra, egocentric sucker, comes in and says, "I am from now on the one and only God." And we have proof. We can show that Ra went in, he changed the hieroglyphs, he changed stone inscriptions, he changed the stelae, he changed the pyramid inscriptions to make himself the one and only God. From that moment that he took the throne, there would be no other God before him. He eliminated the existence of any other Syrian king, of any wolf king. No one existed before Ra. He changed the records. But there's a problem. We can change the records and show that there was never any president before Bill Clinton. Every single book, every single videotape, we can do that. But there's a problem. Memories. You've got hybrid beasts that are working for the system. You've got reject beasts that are working hand in hand with the system. There's a long time period here that we have basically skimmed over. But now there are some Adama beasts on the outside of the system. There are some Adapus beasts on the inside. We are now in basically the period 6000 BC. It was civilized. There were humans everywhere. They're like, some of them, cockroaches. You may not like them, but they're here to stay. So, Ra changes the records. But you got the memories. Now what? Ra says, "Guys, don't you have a technology that would allow me to eliminate memories?" "Oh yeah, technology. Reprogramming the brain. The reptilians are famous for it. Let's reprogram the brains." So, the Lord God Ra calls the Shetu stonecutters. They were loyal, obedient slaves. And he said, "Guys, I want you to erase their memories. I want you to set up a reprogramming center, and I want you to march them in there one by one or in groups, and I want you to reprogram their brains so that they will never remember anything above and beyond my existence. There will be no memory beyond the year 6000 BC, according to the way we refer to time frame." The Shetu lizards began to take row number 1, and they marched them down a long, dark tunnel into the reprogramming center where the lights were bright. You need a lot of light to reprogram the brain. And the beasts that were marched in there, they came out, yes, sir, Lord God, Ra, the one and only God, Ra, there was no other God before thee, I shall obey you no matter what I says. Yes, sir, anything you say. You're going to be here. And they couldn't remember anything before Ra, but they had one memory. It was a long tunnel, the bright light at the end. They remembered that. But it nagged them, it bothered them. But they all had it. And the Shetu lizards were given free rein, complete liberty to do anything necessary to get all of the hybrids and all the residents of planet Earth and to march them into that damn tunnel. Lord God Ra and the reptilian queen said, look, you promised them food. You promised them all of their loved ones who had ever been in their lives and passed away. They're going to be at the end of the life. You promised them an orgy. You promised them heaven. You promised them anything it takes to get them into that damn light. You have complete and total free hand getting them into that tunnel. And from the day they were born, they were taught, go to the light. Your loved ones are there. Paradise is there. You go into the light and everything will be okay. Was because when they died, they were sent into the reprogramming chamber. They were brought back and put into another physical body. They were back to work, obeying the system, doing whatever was necessary, and pledging allegiance and paying their taxes. They had a long, nagging tunnel in their memories. Shit. Well, some of the beasts, particularly, remember the Asu? The Asu said, oh man, all that stuff we learned from Prince Adam, we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it. And what would you do if you knew that you were going to end up being forced into a programming center and you were going to be forced to be reprogrammed and you were going to forget, but you needed to somehow leave a memory job? You sneak into a cave and you make some marks. You put down some sort of a symbol. And you put it in the deepest, darkest cave away from the big cities. Someplace where weather and time is not going to damage it. Because maybe someday, somebody's going to climb into a cave, and they're going to see a blip, and they're going to go, whoa, I remember this, man. I remember this. So some Asu began to plant clues everywhere they could. But some of the Asu, they said, you know what? What if Earth is swept clean somehow? Where else can we put them to be sure? There's the moon. There's Mars. Let's send some Asu, get them to the planet Mars, and we'll leave a monument. Let's build a face. Let's build a pyramid. Let's put the mathematical formulas. Let's put our science into these monuments. So that someday, maybe the beast is going to break free and somebody's going to go up there and suddenly there's a damn face on Mars and they're going to go, whoa! And somebody's going to remember it and somebody's going to figure out the science and they're going to figure out the mathematics. We're going to remember this story. So, they did. And those Asu run into the tunnels and they were reprogrammed. And they came out serving the system. All right, so what? Very simple. The Shetu were stonemasons.
Were what?
Stonemasons. Stone cutters. That was their original assignment. But they were given free hand to do anything necessary to get the beast into that reprogramming center. All right. In time, the Shetu said, "Hurrah! Thou once and only God who is dependent on us to do everything necessary, whom our Lord Queen said it's okay for you to be the king. We want it back." and they kicked out Lord Ra. But Ra had already figured out they're setting me up. So he said, who can I trust? The administration of the kingdom and my money. Who can I trust? So Lord Ra took the administration of the kingdom, removed it from the Shetu. Now this is before the rebellion, and he said, you know what? There are a couple of priests I can trust. These priests were known as, you're right, the term then was Perea, we now call it Pharaoh. Oops. The Pharaoh. They were entrusted with the administration of the kingdom. The money he gave to his children. All of my offspring, you hold the money, you control the money, we'll be okay, the Shetu lizards won't get it. Ra, in becoming the one and only God, the one and only Father, was known as Ra Ka, which literally means Father Essence, the ultimate Father. In approximately 6,000 BC, Ra turned over the money to Ka. Suffix M means of, offspring, the children of. However, Ka'am eventually became Kam, but Kam was an ancient word for shield. Okay? Now, I want you to watch this. It's a coincidence. The administration of the empire was turned over to the Ra Ka Perea, or the Ra Ka pharaohs, and the wealth of the empire was given to the Ra Kam, or the Ra's shield. In 6000 BC, the two most influential groups, the power groups, were the Ra Ka pharaohs and the Ra's shields. It's funny, but it ought to scare the hell out of you. Could this be Ra Ka pharaohs and Ra's shields in control of the money and the administration of the empire in 6,000 BC, 8,000 years ago? And isn't it a coincidence that we now have Rockefellers and Ra's shields? Is that possible, Robert? I don't know. You check it out. Alright. Let's try a couple more things on you here. Let's begin to develop who the Shetu are. The Shetu undid Ra. And in fact, they went after the Ra Ka pharaohs and they went after the Ra shields and they reprogrammed most of them. Some of the Ra Ka pharaohs and some of the Ra shields said, yo, dude, do them. I'll do anything you want. You leave me just my money and leave me alone. Some of them sold out. Now, Shetu became the government, the administrative government for the Reptilians. Okay, the Reptilian queens. Would it surprise you if Shetu, the Shetu government, is the root of the term shadow or the shadow government? Okay? Who are the Shetu? They were stone masons. But did you know that the secondary interpretation of Shetu is free? Remember, they had free hand, free liberty. They were the free masons. Now, coincidence. How many presidents, how many many queens, how many influential societies throughout mankind's history are all members of the Freemasons? Even if there's only 2 that aren't. Curiously, the Chateau were the first Freemasons. Now, but who are these little lizard dudes? What if I told you that even further interpretations of the word Chateau literally means to seize or to abduct. Now, try to imagine this. Little lizard hybrids. Take a lizard, put it on its hind legs. Very thin body. Long, thin arms and legs. But a dinosaur head, they seize, they abduct, they take you in, they reprogram you. They're the shadow government. They're everywhere you turn around. And you know what they look like?
Oh my God.
I am going to suggest to you, we are where we are because of these guys. They were the original Freemasons. They're the original shadow government. They're the ones that reprogram. They're the ones that abduct. They're the ones that seize. And I am really sorry, but when I hear stories about abductions by Greys, and it's all for some benevolent experiment to create some wondrous star being in the future, I'm sorry, that's a crock. That's the party line. You're supposed to believe that abductions are good. You're supposed to believe that going into the tunnel is good. Doesn't it bother you that everybody says, go into the light? But you know what? I'm going to stand in front of you. I'm going to say, don't go into that damn light. When you go in that tunnel and you see that damn light, here's the suggestion. Turn around. Look out here. Because you don't have to go in there. You can go out there. And you know what's out there? The universe. And galaxies. And there's another light out there. You know what that light is? You. That's your light. That's the light you go into, man. It's your renegade, reject, bunk-loving light. And if I'm wrong, turn around. Go back into the light. Because if it is wondrous, if it is love, if it is benevolent, damn it, you'll still be there. Sir.
Anybody that has read all these abduction stories, isn't it unusual that benevolent is wonderful it's supposed to be, even though it's supposed to scare them, frightened to death. But if they control their mind, or they can't move and can't do anything, they're paralyzed. Wouldn't it be appropriate if they were benevolent beings to be surrounded with pink love, and they were just nailed into it?
Bingo. Look, if these guys are benevolent, why don't they just show up in Central Square and say, guys, we're here to help you? If they are on our side and they want to guide us away from our own atomic destruction, why don't they just show up and say, guys, you're screwing up? If they're benevolent, they're gonna be here. But why are they always behind the scenes? Why, even in Whitley Strieber's book, Communion, why, when he's being abducted, he says, I know it's love, I know it's light, I know it's wonderful, I know if it's for our benefit, why am I so scared? Because it's a crock. Because they don't want you to know the truth. Because you're being programmed in schools, you're being programmed in churches, you're being programmed everywhere. Go into the damn light. Love and light and wonder and peace. I absolutely agree with you. I love it. But you know what? You're not going to achieve love and light and peace until you realize what they're selling. They're selling obedience to the light. Screw it. I'm going to suggest to you your light. One grand and harmonious universe. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Screw it. I don't want one grand harmonious universe. Because that implies you and I and everybody, we got to think alike, we got to look alike, we got to do the same thing, we got to like the same thing. And so you know what? I don't want one harmonious universe. I want one universe for every single person in this room and anybody who wants one. I want billions and billions and billions of universes. You do whatever you want in your universe because I'm going to do the same. And once in a while we're going to get together, we're going to dance, we're going to power. And it's over, I'm going home. I don't want one harmonious universe. I understand the premise, but it doesn't allow for an individual. So, I am the anathema of the New Age love and light and brotherhood. You're not going to achieve... Look, if the light worked, and this is my opinion, I'm sorry, my opinion, but if the light worked, if pure, innocent love worked, why are babes, infants, suffering these horrendous abuses? Why are the first ones that get hurt the children? Why do nuns and priests wrapped in love and light, unconditional love and light, why are they the first ones killed on the front lines? If love and light worked, you could wrap yourself in the love, you could walk across the freeway over here and you wouldn't be touched. Well, here's a secret, guys. Light is simply sun. Prince Aya said, wrap yourself not in light, in enlightenment. The way to get across that freeway is to learn about cars and trucks and brakes in the traffic and wait for the stop sign, wait for it to say walk, and then you go. Because if you wrap yourself in this blind light and take a step, your ass is mush. Awareness, enlightenment, wisdom and knowledge. If wrapping yourself in the light would work, you could plop yourself down in a rattlesnake cage in a den and you never get bit. Sorry. Smart thing to do is to know which snake you can sleep next to. Don't be judgmental. I'm sorry. Judgmental means making a decision. And until you make a decision, you're not going to take control of your life. Now, here's what's going to piss some of you off. Some more? More. Don't go into the light. It's true. Go after your light. Make judgments. Trust your gut. It's okay to get pissed, and it's okay to hate. It is a valid emotion. It's okay to go, yuck, shit, I'm going this way. That's their universe. This is mine. My judgment, my gut says, I gotta do this. There is an experiment called free will, and it depends upon rejects. It depends upon renegades who are willing to follow their passion and say, screw it, it's a judgment call, I'm being judgmental. Screw Clinton, I don't care how nice he is, I'm going over here. On the other hand, of the allegiance to Clinton, I'm sure he'll have a job in civil service, and he'll never be a disgruntled postman. Am I making sense here? I'm asking you to make judgments. I'm asking you to trust your gut. What I am hoping happens here is you go, I remember that. I knew this. It's in your gut and it's been churning. But if this is a crock, when I'm saying it's a crock and I'm the Antichrist, hey, go for it. I'm sitting here telling you I'm on Prince Aya's side. I'm on the side of Da'aya Ba'el. I suppose that makes me diabolic. I like it. I like to bump, and I like to break rules, and I don't mind screwing the government. As a matter of fact, I'm going to recommend ripping off the bank. Wouldn't that be great? Tell me you haven't thought about pulling the bank down. Lie to me and tell me you haven't thought, wouldn't that be great? Guys, you're just like me. We're rejects. We don't like the system. We've been reprogrammed, and these guys are in charge. They're still here. You had a question?
I have a comment.
You have a comment?
A very important comment.
Okay.
You said do not go to the light.
Yes.
Well, there are 3 books by Bob Monroe with the Monroe Institute of Applied Science in our He took 35 years, almost 40 years of his research out of the body. He never went to the light. Never. He found his lights out there. He found himself, pieces of himself. So now what you're saying is really making sense.
Well, I hope so, because you know what? I mean, doesn't it bother you that everybody says, go to the light? But I'm also going to tell you that some people who go to the light are going to have wondrous experiences. As a matter of fact, I know 2 individuals who said they've been abducted by grays, and it was marvelous. It was wonderful. And you know what? If this person, one of us, goes into the light and is set back, and she's programmed to tell us it's a great thing, that's the point. And trying to do anything they can to get us into the light, to allow for the abductions, to permit the grays for being sold. And if it works for you, it's okay. But I'm suggesting there's a trap. And if there really were benevolent beings out there, why aren't they in our living rooms and on TV helping us? Why are they always hidden? Why is the government trying to say there's no such thing as a UFO? When what we should be asking is, who are they and what are they doing here? That's what's crucial. And they're saying no such thing as ETs, and some of them are benevolent and some of them are... Well, look, yeah, there are some good guys. There are a hell of a lot of bad guys. And these guys are the ones that are trying to keep the system going, and they're trying to keep us under control. And every once in a while, a renegade star system says, let's go down and screw the lizards. Remember Balea. This means Lord. Lord Ea. Fled. He said, screw it. My son came in, he kicked me out, my brother kicked me out, my dad's upset with me. Planets and worlds, the reptilian creed. I mean, I think I've got it bad because I worked against a lot of systems, but man, he took on worlds, he took on empires, he took on a galaxy. And he said, I've had it. So he fled to another star system. He found a fledgling star system, barely a few billion years old. That's nothing. And he took over the system and he said, all right, here's the rule. One rule. There are no rules. Rejects, renegades, pissed off with the system, people, you can come to my star system. Tesh means a gathering place. It is, actually literally means a holy place, like a church. He fled to a star system and created a new colony. It was called Balea Tesh. This star system was comprised of renegades, of rejects from star systems from all over. And they gathered there, and every once in a while, they are perhaps the most instrumental in coming down and attempting to break up the system. That was good people. The star system Balea Tesh.
Oh, wow.
Pleiades. Balea Tesh. The Pleiadians are good guys in that they want to undo the system. But there are Pleiadians who said, screw the system, we need some help, we need some money, we need whatever. There are good guys, there are bad guys. But for the most part, the Pleiadians are the race at the core of trying to undo the lizards. Well, one day, not too long ago, they sent down a ship with some scouts looking for a break, a chink in the armor of the reptilians, the lizards. And they found a corridor where there's a tremendous amount of travel, very crucial to the lizards. It's like I-10, the Peshman 10. There is a corridor that runs through the Four Corners area. And they were looking for a way to break down the system, this corridor. Unfortunately, they almost got caught behind the lines. They were attacked. the ship was downed. It crashed in approximately the Four Corners area of Utah, New Mexico, Colorado, and Arizona. It came down in August of 1947. Who was in the ship?
Sorry, it looked like.
I said a moment. What I am suggesting to you overall, if you were raw and got kicked out, would you want to come back? If you were in Lil and got kicked out, would you want to come back? Do you think the wolf people want to come back from Sirius to take over the solar system? The reptilian queen constantly has those who want to undo her. Do you think the lizards might turn on her? I'm suggesting this to you. But there is a war on right now for planet Earth. We happen to be the guardians and the tenders of planet Earth. It is our task to go along with the prize. And it is absolutely necessary that when you fight over the farm, you do not disturb the beast who maintains the farm. You must not allow the beast to witness the wars. You must not allow him to be disturbed. You must not break the system for the farm. There is a war, and we are the prize. And the one, here is something I'm going to leave you with this, and then I'll answer about the star when we go to questions and answers. Lord Ea, when he finally fled to the Pleiades, Baleatesh, he said, you know what, man? I got to give it a shot. I got to do something. I have a beast who is not aware, who doesn't have a soul, who doesn't have a consciousness. He's a beast. Why can't I get that last little spark, that fire, that passion that would really make him an independent free will being? And so, he couldn't come up with something until one day he's approached. He's approached by beings from another planet, from another galaxy. And in that galaxy, there is no system. These beings had, in their evolution, left the need for a physical body. They had learned to use internal energy. They had learned to use their internal essence to climb the mountain. They didn't need a boat. They didn't need a ship. They didn't need steps. They were able to use their own energy. And as they used more and more internal energy, they needed less and less density. The Syrians and the Reptilians said, screw using my internal energy, let's just build a damn escalator. So, these beings from another galaxy take the evolutionary formula and plug in a bird. A humanoid bird. As they evolved, these beings lost their density. They lost their need for a physical body, but you know what? They liked fun. So, for courtship purposes, they retained their wings. But in the dark, when there's no sunlight, the energy beings glowed. And they came to Prince Ea. They said, do you really want to give him passion? Do you really want to give him independent free will? And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to give you one of our own strands of DNA. And you hardwire it into the beast. And you're going to condemn him to passion, an inexplicable fire. And Prince Ea said, in a second, dude. And he took that DNA, he went to the beast, hard and hard into the beast. And suddenly, the beast, the primitive beast, went, wow, man, you know what? There's more than the feels and the minds, man. There's a galaxy, there's stars, there was a consciousness. Suddenly he was linked with another race in another galaxy. Suddenly he was aware, he was conscious, there was this thing inside him. These beings were called Aku. The gift that was given to Prince Ea, that was placed inside of the beast, was known as the gift of the feather. Now, Ea in ancient hieroglyphs, long A, is written as a hand extended out. Short A is written as a feather. Ea in ancient hieroglyphs is a hand extending a feather. The gift of the feather was that strand, that filament of DNA that makes you go, wow. It's about love. It's about irrationality. It's about fire. It's about knowing it's not good for you, but doing it anyway. Because your fire wants you to do that. The Aku said, Prince Ea, please let your beasts know this. We're going to include a hardwired clue into this strand of DNA so that they will know, because they've never experienced it, you're going to know how and when you're in touch with your passion. When you're one with your fire, here's what's going to happen to the beast. He's going to see feathers. They're going to manifest in front of him. He's going to dream about feathered beings. He's going to have feathered beings in his life. Birds will fly in. Suddenly the feather is going to become a crucial part of his existence. And people who are one with their fire, one with their passion, they have dreams. And they go, whoa, an Indian guide. No. It's not cool. But what we on this planet recognize as a person constantly wrapped in his feathers is an Indian. It's not correct. It's an Aku. The gift of the feather is this. One with your fire, feathers are going to fall out of the sky. You're going to dream about feathered beings. Birds are going to appear. Feathers are going to appear in the middle of your living room floor. Feathers will be everywhere. It is the Aku. Now remember, the K sounds like a G. Aku. They became known as Lord Ea's lords. Prince Ea's title was Enki, Lord of Earth. Lord Ea's lords were the Enkiels. The Enkiels. Angels. Who were responsible for the passion. Who were responsible for that irrational, illogical fire. It's a gift that came from them. But ain't enough. Prince Ea says, wow, I got a beast man unleashed. Fire unleashed. Now what are you going to do with that? Prince Ea said, I only got one thing left to do, man. Prince Ea, eldest son of the Syrian king responsible for the lordship of planet Earth and the solar system in this neck of the woods, Prince Ea pricked his finger. And he took his own DNA and he mixed it with the beast. And in doing that, the reject became a son of the Lord Creator. He was an offspring of the God of creation himself. Lord Ea endowed us through his own DNA with the right of royalty. We can assume the damn throne of planet Earth in our own solar system. We have the right to assume control of our planet. And we have the fire, we have the passion, and you know what? The system says, Jesus Christ. Don't let them know this story. Because if 51% of them stand up and say, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, I want the aliens out, I want the Greys out, I have a right to the throne of this planet, we're going to take over and we have a right to do it. And you know what? We're going to make it a free will, passionate, bog-loving empire. The system doesn't want it. That's why you're being denied, manipulated, steered, and controlled. God bless you. And the lizard said, oh shit, What if they find out about the story? What are we going to do? And one of the lizards says, I got an idea. Let's take the story of the Death Star. Let's take the story of the Reptilians. Let's take this whole story and let's go to him while he's asleep. Let's reprogram his mind. Let's put it into his mind. And when he wakes up, he's going to go, hey, I got a great idea. I've got an idea. And his name is Stephen. And Stephen creates a movie. And he builds a Death Star. And he builds on the screen the rebel story. And then one day, some maverick Indian goes, hey, listen to this story. And he jumps up, whoa, wait a minute. I made that up. It came to me in a dream. I made the damn thing up. It's my story. No. That was planted. And I'm going to plant in her mind the story of minotaurs and unicorns, and you write the book. And then when somebody says, unicorns are real, and the minotaur was real, and she says, no, wait a minute. I made it up. I made it up, guys. No. You were reprogrammed. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. It's the very same thing I started with last night. Myth is reality. History is application. Churches are a crock. The Bible is a crock. You've been lied to, you've been deceived, you've been manipulated. Go to the damn light. You're going to be reprogrammed. You're going to come back and you're going to pay your taxes faithfully and loyally every single day. You're going to pledge allegiance. You're going to get your watch after 20 years. This is all a crock. But here's my saving grace. I believe with all my heart and soul, with that damn irrational fire, that some of you know what I'm telling you. It's got to be reverberating inside your bones, going like, oh, I knew it. I knew I had a reason to believe in unicorns. I knew I liked Minotaur and legends, and I knew Disney was right when he built the story of the Beauty and the Beast, and I love Star Wars because I remember it. Am I making any sense, guys? Good. Because we've been lied to. Because we've had our own world, our lives taken away from us. We're not in control of our lives, guys. That is why we go after New Age philosophies. That is why we go to workshops. That's why we're always seeking and looking with valid intent. And there are some good teachers out there, and they address minor little points here and there. And I don't disagree with them. I think they're right. But you know what I'm going to suggest is crucial? We need to know this whole story so that we can reclaim our planet and reclaim our lives. Now tell me why I'm going to quit on February the 1st of 96.
Why? It would be a year since you started.
February the 1st of 96.
With the hand.
Okay.
Today's
I hope I'm making some sense. I hope it fits. Now with that, okay, with all of this, I mean, a lot to think about. I'm going to leave you with this. I want to take some people to the Canyonlands. I want you to hands-on experiences. You're going to experience unreal things. You're going to see evidence of a Prince Aya colony. You're going to see the lights in the skies, and you're going to see the ships, and you're going to see the phenomena. You go with me to the Canyonlands. I'll talk to you about it afterwards. You go to the Canyonlands alone, be careful. Extremely careful. Okay? All right. I've given you a lot. We got just a little time. Would you like to take a break and then go to question and answer, or shall we just go straight into question and answer?
Why are you stopping on February 1st? You need to. Yeah, right on. And then we'll take a break.
All right. We'll do this. Someone who said, or who earlier said, I think you call me, how many times am I called the Antichrist? Devil worshiper? In a strict sense? Yeah, I'm on the devil's side. I'm the one that they call the devil.